Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I wanted to break down and discuss the character Maggie leaving The Walking Dead for the rest of Season 9, and possibly the entire show forever. With that being said, major warning of spoilers for everything in the show up to episode 905, and let's jump right into this. So, the last episode was in the spotlight as Rick's final episode, but apparently it was Maggie's as well? This went completely over my head at first, as everyone was obviously focused on Rick's final episode, but I did see a few people post in my comments section that it was actually Maggie's final episode as well. I just didn't want to believe it. Surely they would have to show her in episode 906, right? Surely they'd give her her own departure episode and story arc and not just sweep her under the carpet, right? This whole time I've been talking in my predictions as if we'll see Maggie in episode 906 and firsthand see the reason why she leaves the show, but apparently now the story goes that Maggie left during the 6-year time skip between episodes 5 and 6, and that she won't actually be in episode 6. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves though. Let's first go through and summarize the entire Lauren Cohan situation leading up to this. So first off, leading up to Season 9, it was a debate as to whether or not Maggie would even be in Season 9, back before we even knew about Rick Grimes ever leaving the show. Just the idea of not having Maggie in the show anymore during the new beginning was sticking out like a sore thumb, as everything forming Maggie's character has been for this moment. Ever since Seasons 5 and 6, when Maggie was being mentored by Deanna, then Maggie slowly taking over the hilltop from Gregory, her losing Glenn and standing up to fight against Negan, causing her to take a leadership position as Gregory was too busy hiding in a corner pissing his pants to do anything. Everything in Maggie's story the past 3 or so years has been circling around the idea of her taking over the hilltop and finally becoming its new confident leader for the new beginning story arc after the war with Negan has ended. Maggie goes on to become quite the successful leader in the comics, and this is what we've been waiting for Maggie to be set up as for years now on the show. And just when it's finally going to come to fruition, there was talk of her not even being in the show during Season 9 at all. What? They thankfully agreed to sign her on for the first half of the season, or it's not even the full first half of the season, just 5-6 episodes. We were told that Rick and Maggie both only had 5 to 6 episodes left. We weren't completely sure what the number was. Multiple news articles said that Maggie had 6 episodes, so everyone just started running with that number, and then eventually Greg Nicotero stated that he directed Rick's final episode, which is episode 5, but nothing was ever really updated on Maggie as far as I'm aware. It was confirmed that she was going to be in the first 5 episodes of Season 9, followed with the possibility of her returning in Season 10, and even if she did, it would just be another small handful of episodes to probably conclude her story, not integrate her back into the story permanently as a main character like Daryl or Carol like how she currently is. Now, since AMC was being stubborn during the whole disputing process, Lauren Cohan went ahead and agreed to play as a lead role in the new ABC series Whiskey Cavalier, showing AMC that she's not one to be messed around with. The thing is, being in a lead role for Whiskey Cavalier meant that even if Lauren Cohan didn't want to stay in The Walking Dead, she would be forced to do a small limited role, as when you sign on to be the lead role for a TV show, they don't normally like you going and doing different major projects at the same time as well. Maybe a movie, maybe a feature in a TV show, but they don't want you to be the main leader in The Walking Dead if you're also just signing on to be the main leader in their show as well. This is partly why Maggie was only in the first 5 episodes of Season 9, and this is also why Maggie will only be able to return during Season 10 for a few episodes, assuming Whiskey Cavalier is successful and it doesn't totally tank and get instantly cancelled. Now, it's messed up how much Rick versus Maggie dispute happened during the Season 8 finale, along with the first half of Season 9, considering that both Maggie and Rick won't be in the show anymore going into episode 6. Like, what the heck? I just find it so freaking insane that Maggie's last episode was actually the same episode as Rick's, and that she won't even be in episode 906. I thought Rick and Maggie would be getting their own goodbye episodes. This is just ridiculous. Even when people told me in the comments, I thought the idea was silly. I took it with a grain of salt. It does kind of make sense that they're giving Maggie a 6-year leeway of explanation as to when, why, and how Maggie left, instead of showcasing the exact moment so that they can keep it vague depending on whether or not Maggie even returns at all for Season 10, but I just think it's so ridiculous. Honestly, the best option story-wise is to probably have her go and meet Georgie's group or possibly move there off-screen, all while still delivering notes to Jesus at the hilltop. This is why they rushed Maggie's confrontation with Negan in the same episode as Rick's final episode, as it was Maggie's as well. What was even the last time we saw her on screen? Was it when she looked up to see the bridge explode with Rick? This is really depressing, honestly, and it feels like a disappointing and underwhelming end to her character. So what made me want to truly create this video in the first place? Well, I was just swiping through Snapchat, minding my own business, when I saw IGN articles on Rick's final episodes, where they also interviewed the new showrunner Angela Kane. During these interviews with IGN, they go into mentioning that Maggie's last episode was in fact 905, and that she will not be in 906, even though there was no on-screen reference of this, there was no foreshadowing, there was nothing in 905 to imply that Maggie would not be in the show anymore. Instead, she's just disappeared between episodes, as if Thanos just snapped his fingers and she's not there anymore. Now, the link to the article will be in the description for IGN and Angela Kane, but apparently Angela says, quote, "There's definitely a story point to the fact as to why Maggie is gone. We know what the backstory is, and there's pieces of it that are dribbled out. We will have a clear idea of what she's off doing and what's going on, but that's a part of the backstory of the story that we'll be telling going forward." So I'm not sure if we're just going to get one solid explanation in episode 906, or if her whereabouts are going to be kept vague, and then slowly throughout season 9 we'll keep getting more and more information about her. I honestly hope that they just kinda straightforward tell us what the heck is going on, they don't make it vague, they don't make us wonder, because that's just gonna be straight up annoying. So there is an excuse as to why Maggie's not there, and we'll slowly hear about it during season 906 along with the rest of season 9, but this worries me. This sounds a lot like how the new season 4 showrunners for Fear the Walking Dead said that we'd get answers from the dam explosion at the end of season 3, as they promised that they'd wrap the story up with a full explanation, but they didn't. We got a few small memeable lines of dialogue about Strand being in a cave along with Luciana just magically finding them again. No explanation as to how they got out of the situation and survived. Half of them could have drowned, the other half could have gotten crushed. No explanation as to how they're all okay, how they're all reunited, how they found each other again. They were just shoehorned together as the new showrunners wanted to tell their new story, completely disrespecting the previous seasons. That being said, I do have a lot more respect for Angela Kang than I do for the two season 4 Fear the Walking Dead showrunners, but still, I don't want them to sweep Maggie's exit under the rug. I want a damn good reason as to why she left, along with what the hell the deal is with Herschel Jr. It's been 6 years, so Herschel Jr. should be a 6-year-old kid, right? Judith was 4 at the beginning of season 9, so now she's 10 years old, just like how Carl was at the beginning of season 1. Will Judith and Herschel Jr. grow up as lifelong friends with the absence of Mother or Aunt Maggie becoming the leader after all of this Gregory BS for like 3 seasons or 2 seasons? She just leaves. I don't know, I kind of want something realistic, right? I mean, I guess if it's a contract dispute and there's not much they can do, they have to find a reason. It's not like they wanted the story to go like this, I get that, but I don't know, it's just, that's why I was so appalled when, at the very beginning, I heard that Maggie might not be in season 9 at all. She's such an important character to the new beginning, being the leader of the hilltop and all the build-up with her character. It would be so ridiculous for her to just be gone when everything is supposed to come to fruition. Whether she went on a multi-year trip to visit Georgie's community for the first time, or if she just walked out and never came back like the blonde chick at the end of the 100 for season 2, I just don't think it'll be a good enough answer to satisfy me. And I don't even have that high of standards for this. It's just such BS that Maggie could even possibly leave the hilltop after 3 years of putting everything into position as we watch them set up her character for the hilltop leadership position. Contracts don't work out. There's a ton of BS outside of taking the importance of the TV show story into consideration, and that's why it sucks that actors such as Rick, Maggie, or even minor characters like Heath had to leave the show when in the comic book version of it all you have to do is draw their character in a panel for them to be a part of the cast for however long you'd like. I don't know if Lauren Cohan is asking for a pretentious raise, or if AMC is being as greedy as they always are, not paying her as much as they should, but either way, they should have figured out their shit. If AMC wants the show to stay successful, they need to keep the main characters that they've built up for years to come. Sure, Magna's group is cool, but we've followed these characters and their journey since the beginning, and although the Walking Dead is turning into an ensemble cast, we still need long-term characters to care about, or else casual fans will just get irritated and lose interest more than they already have. Likewise, I really try to not hate on actors because God forbid I say something negative about Andrew Lincoln or Lauren Cohan. I don't want an angry mob of dedicated fans on my doorstep. Yes, I want to support them. Yes, I'm huge fans of them, but they decided to put their foot down and leave the show. They decided to not stick it out and make the New Beginning story arc what it truly should have been. They shafted the show for one reason or another. Whether or not AMC is being an asshole here, whether or not it's because they want to be with their actual family, whether it's due to contract disputes, or if it was maybe due to losing motivation of their character due to supporting characters like Carl getting killed off, this is a major elephant in the room issue that no one is addressing. Everyone is just talking about how they dedicated most of a decade of their lives to the show. I genuinely agree with that. Round of applause by all means for the past 8 amazing seasons of the show. It obviously takes a lot of work to be an actor on the show when you're constantly out in the hot Georgia heat doing all of these crazy stunts. You're not just sitting in a room talking, but if they could have stayed on the show until season 10 or 11, they would have been cycled into the background more as they just sit at home figuring out political nonsense with people like Jesus, Daryl, or Dwight actually fighting on the front lines now. In Rick's case, apparently he was even going to leave in seasons 7 and 8 as well, so I suppose he did stick it out from his perspective. People are trying to respect the actors and their wishes, especially since there's a lot of behind the scenes nonsense that can occur, and we don't really want to just rudely blame the actors and cause fans to hate them. I don't want you guys to go hate on the actors. I don't want you guys to harass them like how Eugene's actor got harassed during All Out War and he literally deleted his social media because of it. I don't want that, but we also should be able to voice our true opinions. I'm sorry if this sounds like I'm being insensitive. I know that this is their career and their livelihood and that they should just be able to do what they need to do to keep themselves happy with the support of the fans, but we should also be able to openly discuss this instead of just shielding the whole situation with this stigma of being unable to say anything negative in regards to it. I hope you guys understand the points that I'm trying to get across. If you disagree with anything at all, feel free to let me know, obviously, but if you can relate to anything I'm trying to explain, I'd obviously appreciate hearing that perspective as well. Feel free to like the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today. It really helps me out more than you can imagine. Also, feel free to subscribe for more Walking Dead content in the near future, and if you'd like to take that extra step in helping support the channel, consider checking out my Patreon as well. Follow me on Twitter too, link to both of those in the description. I'm fairly active on Twitter even when I'm not posting videos, and I'm always retweeting everything I can involving the Walking Dead universe. But anyways guys, I thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.